Governor Rick Scott filed a lawsuit against Palm Beach and Broward counties for lack of access to public records regarding voting numbers. This comes as a recount now looms over his race for the U.S. Senate. Joining us now, the man himself, Governor Rick Scott. Governor, I'm looking at these numbers. On Election Day, you were up 57,000 votes. What is the number now?
Now it's down to 15,000 votes. So it's clear. We got some left-wing activists. We've got some Democrat D.C. lawyers. They're down here for one purpose, to steal this election. Somehow,
Governor,
the Broward County supervisor.
I looked at the numbers. You were told 5 different numbers. Florida law says that all absentee early voting numbers must be reported within 30 minutes of the polls closing, correct?
Absolutely.
And those numbers have gone from
78,000 votes. Sean, they've found 78,000 new votes since Election Day 2 days ago in Broward County and 15,000 more votes in Palm Beach. We don't know how many more votes they're going to come up with, but it sure appears they're going to keep finding as many votes as it takes to try to win this election.
Right.
So I've asked the Florida Department of Law Enforcement to immediately do an investigation. We filed lawsuits. We're going to fight this, and we're going to win.
Well, she, in 2016, her office posted results a half hour before the polls closed. That's an election violation law, but broken. She was sued for leaving amendments off the ballots. She also, in the case of Debbie Wasserman Schultz, why is this person even working there?
Well, what I've done is I've asked for an investigation, but we have examples. The Palm Beach supervisor won't allow normal party officials that are supposed to be reviewing ballots. They're not allowing them to do it properly. That's a violation of the law. They were supposed to report all these results. They're not. But how did they come up with 78,000 more votes? Just in Broward and 15 in Palm Beach. No other county is having these problems. We had a horrible hurricane in the Panhandle. It didn't happen there. The lawyers that come down said they're here to win the election, not here to say, oh, I want to find out what the results are and make sure there's fair results. They're down here for one purpose, and they've said that, to win the election.
27 days ago, the Panhandle was smashed with one of the worst hurricanes we've seen. They got their votes in on time. They ended up doing this. To me, this is the single biggest abuse of power in an election I've seen. And they have Mark Elias, the guy at the heart of the whole Perkins Coie, Fusion GPS, Clinton bought and paid for dossier leading the way.
Yep. I mean, they're down here. He's down here for one purpose, steal this election. And he said he's down here just to win this election. He doesn't care about anything else.
He's down there to win it.
So we won. Yeah, we won. I'm going to be the U.S. Senator. I'm going to fight this all the way. We're going to do everything we can. We're looking at every legal remedy we can exercise. We're going to fight this, and we're going to win this. This is wrong what they're doing.
And every other county except Broward and Palm Beach did it the right way. Every other county. And they've done this before. And why does she still have a job?
Well, she's separately elected in these counties. And but think about it. Some of these other supervisors that did it the right way are Democrats also. So every other county, Republican or Democrat, those supervisors did it the right way. These two didn't. They have violated the law. We're going. I've asked the Florida law enforcement to do an investigation, and we've already filed a lawsuit. We're going to make sure we win this. I won this election for the benefit of the people of this state. Their will is not going to be thwarted.
I've never seen anything like this in my life. It is obviously corrupt. Obviously, laws were broken. Obviously, there are shenanigans here. I believe you and Senator Rubio are 100% correct. We will follow this every single second of every day now because the people of Florida deserve their just vote, which they got. And you won this race hands down. And this is a disgrace that they get to do this election in, election out. Somebody needs to go to jail here if this keeps happening. You keep violating the law. You don't respond. Every other county responds. Then you change your numbers again and again and again. Something's not right. All right, Governor, thank you.
The midterms are over. Or are they over? In the last 2 Senate races we thought were going to the GOP, they seemed to win on election night. I'm talking about Florida. I'm talking about Arizona. Thousands of uncounted ballots keep popping up, though, mostly in the Democratic-leaning areas. What is going on here, and why are these elections still up in the air? Senator Marco Rubio's had it. He's tweeted about it, saying this: Democrat lawyers are descending on Florida. They've been very clear they aren't there to make sure that every vote is counted. They are here to change the results of the election. And Broward County is where they plan to do it. Senator Marco Rubio joins us right now. Senator, what makes you think that?
Their words. They held a press conference and said that we're not here to just have a recount. We're here to win. And look, we have procedures in the law for close elections and recounts. I have no problem with any of that. I have no problem with anyone availing themselves of what the law allows them to do. Here's my problem. My problem is this is focused on 2 counties and in particular 1 county. So let me use an example. Bay County, Florida, where Panama City is, was hit by a Category 4 hurricane about 4 weeks to the day of this election. They were without power. You guys covered all this. They did all their ballots at a 52% return rate, 52% turnout despite the hurricane. They did all their ballots, submitted them on time. They were done basically on election night early the following morning, very early. Broward County, 48 hours later, is still counting. And they didn't have a Category 4 hurricane, and it's not the first time that they do this. Problem number 1. Problem number 2 is we don't know how many votes they have, and neither do they. Either they don't know or they won't tell anybody how many ballots are left to count. And so forth. And so it's concerning when you go to sleep at 3 a.m. on Wednesday morning after the election, and, for example, Rick Scott is up by 60,000 votes, 54,000 votes, whatever it was. Today is at 17,000. And the only counties that are still reporting are Palm Beach and Broward,
right.
Who have a history, by the way, on these things. Broward County lost a lawsuit to the Republican Party a while back because they were opening up absentee ballots and beginning to count them before they were supposed to. Okay, Broward County in August of this year in Broward County, right. Mysteriously, or I should just say, let me not use that term, 5,000 mail ballots appeared all of a sudden at 7 p.m. on Tuesday night of the election. Then it actually grew to 9,000. When they were done counting those, a school board race that involved Ryan Petty, one of the Parkland fathers that was challenging a school board member, suddenly the incumbent was able to barely, but she did, avoid a runoff. A judge race flipped at a 400-vote margin after these 9,000 votes appeared. So this is a pattern of, at a minimum, incompetence, and it's embarrassing to the state. Voters deserve better. This is not even a partisan thing. This is a county that apparently cannot count votes as well as a county that just got wiped out by a hurricane.
No matter what happens, you have a sitting governor up for this election, and Marco Rubio, you've been there. You should straighten this out. Brenda Snipes illegally destroyed ballots in 2016. She's still in charge. Now they can't count the ballots. They're supposed to have it up 30 minutes after elections closes. It's still not done. So I just talked to Governor Scott's office. He has a presser tonight. And he says they understand there's got to be a recount, an automatic recount, first by machine. If it's still close, then by hand. Now we understand that Andrew Gillum says it looks like he is going to retract his concession, and he's going to look for a recount there as the vote's beginning to close as well.
Yeah, look, the recount is fine. The law provides for that. In the case of the governor's race and Gillum and DeSantis, they're going to take the ballots and feed them back in the machine and make sure the machine is accurately reflecting them. In the case of the Senate campaign, they're going to manually recount these ballots. And what that means is they're only going to manually recount undervotes and overvotes, meaning ballots that voted for more than one candidate or ballots that did not vote for any candidate. And they're going to look at it and see, was there a marking that showed a voter's intent? Now, it has to be consistent throughout the ballot. So if you put an X in the circle, you got to have put an X in all the circles. You can't just do it for one race. But that's where the lawyers get involved. That's where the fights begin to happen. And that's where we have seen races in the past suddenly turn. My problem is, if this was something we were seeing in multiple counties, it's in one county, and it happens to be a very Democratic county. Look, people have a right to be concerned about it.
Senator, real quick, Mark Elias is coming in. He's a Clinton attorney, and guess what? Works for Perkins Coie. And guess what? They hired Fusion GPS, who hired Christopher Steele. We're back in the dossier conversation. Mark Elias is back in our lives as a country. The Clinton lawyers are here, and they're going to start putting a lawsuit together that the Senate vote, the punch for the Senate, was way on the bottom of the ballot, separate, making it hard for people to vote. So they're going to challenge this legally, along with the recounts, along with the ballots. We might have another mess in Florida, but you're at least standing up ahead of time instead of talking about it in the aftermath. Crazy. Senator Marco Rubio, thanks so much.
Thank you.
I thank you. God bless you, and may he continue to bless the nation that has showered this land with love for more than 2 centuries. Thank you all. God bless you all.